Welcome, everyone. Ready to dive into the world of mirror work with me?
Sounds intriguing.
It is right. We're taking Louise Hay's book, Mirror Work, 21 Days to Heal Your Life, for a spin.
Okay, I'm familiar with Louise Hay's work.
Me too. But this book, even the title got me thinking. Looking in a mirror, saying affirmations. How does that lead to healing?
Yeah, it sounds deceptively simple, but that's kind of the point, isn't it?
Right. So much of our lives we're on autopilot. Subconscious beliefs just running the show.
Totally. And mirror work forces you to, confront those beliefs.
So instead of just blindly accepting those I'm not good enough thoughts, you're bringing them into the light?
Exactly, like holding them up for examination. And then by consciously choosing to repeat positive affirmations, you're basically rewriting those old scripts.
Rewriting the software, huh?
I like that, updating the software of our minds.
Hmm.
What really stood out to you from the book?
I gotta say, from the get-go, Hay dives into self-love, but not just, surface-level stuff.
More like radical self-acceptance, flaws and all.
And she argues mirror work shows us where we resist that self-love.
Ooh, interesting. How so?
Well, thinking about it, I deflect compliments so often, downplay achievements, almost like I'm scared to embrace the good stuff.
That's a classic example of what Hay calls resisting self-love. We're so focused on what we see is wrong with us, acknowledging our strengths feels weird.
And she suggests using affirmations to counter that, right? Looking in the mirror and saying, I love you, or I'm worthy. But honestly, it feels kind of awkward.
Totally get it. Most of us aren't used to talking to ourselves in the mirror, let alone saying those things out loud.
It's like, where do I even look?
Hay even says in the book, it can feel strange at first. But that awkwardness is usually a sign we're resisting, a signal that we need to work on this.
So the discomfort is part of the process.
Think of it like shining a light on hidden self-doubt. The more we practice, the easier it becomes, like building any new habit.
Yeah, consistency is key.
Exactly. She even suggests starting with gentle affirmations if I love you feels too intense.
Like, I'm willing to learn to like you.
Exactly. It's about meeting ourselves where we are, with compassion.
Speaking of compassion, she uses that great analogy of talking to a kindergartner. Imagine, scolding a 5-year-old for not tying their shoes right.
Right. It paints such a vivid picture. We'd never be so harsh to a child, but we do it to ourselves constantly.
That inner critic can be ruthless.
No kidding. And that's where mirror work can be so powerful, choosing to focus on positive affirmations instead of those negative messages.
Okay, so starting to rewire our thinking. But how does mirror work tackle deeper beliefs, those ingrained negative thought files she talks about?
That's where things get really interesting. Hay says mirror work helps disrupt those thought patterns, usually rooted in childhood. Think of it like deeply worn grooves in our minds from years of thinking the same way.
Like those I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed kind of thoughts.
Exactly, and those can become self-fulfilling prophecies if we aren't careful. Mirror work helps create new, more positive grooves through repetition and visualization.
Reprogramming the subconscious, huh?
You got it. And this is where personal responsibility comes in. Hay stresses that even in tough times, we have a choice.
To blame others or ourselves.
Or to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow?
Taking ownership of our thoughts and feelings.
Which leads us to a huge theme in the book. Self-esteem. Day 5's all about building it. Not arrogance or vanity, but recognizing our inherent worth.
Right, and she emphasizes appreciating our bodies, not striving for some ideal image, but accepting ourselves as we are.
Yes, our bodies are miracles, capable of so much. They deserve our love.
She even suggests repeating, I love and approve of myself 100 times a day.
Sounds like a lot, I know. But
Yeah.
think about how much time we spend on social media getting bombarded with messages that chip away at our self-esteem. Why not spend a fraction of that time cultivating self-love?
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. And speaking of negativity, Day 6 tackles the inner critic head-on. Hay talks about her own struggles with it and how affirmations help transform that voice from a judge to, a more compassionate guide.
So not silencing the critic, but changing its role.
Exactly. The inner critic often comes from fear, trying to protect us, but it can also hold us back.
By cultivating self-acceptance, it's like we're telling the critic, it's okay, I'm good.
And Hay makes this fascinating point. Releasing self-judgment makes us less judgmental of others, too, like a ripple effect of compassion.
More we love ourselves, more love we have to give.
Precisely. And that wraps up week 1. Hay ends it with a powerful message. Loving yourself is the solution to every problem.
A bold statement.
It is. But the more I explore this work, the more I see what she means. When we truly love and accept ourselves, it creates a foundation for growth in all areas of life.
What's resonating most with you from this first week?
I'm struck by how simple the technique is. Looking in the mirror, repeating affirmations, anyone can do it. But consistency is what matters.
It's that conscious choice day after day to shift from self-criticism to self-love. That's powerful.
Agreed. And I'm excited to see how these themes deepen as we move into week 2.
Me too. But before we do, let's take a quick break. We'll be back in a flash to continue this journey. Week 2 of this mirror work journey, and the title, Deepening the Connection, has me intrigued.
Oh yeah, definitely takes those basic ideas of self-love and applies them to real life, starting with a big one, the inner child.
Days 8 and 9 are all about loving that inner child. Sounds kind of abstract to me, to be honest.
I get it. Think about those childhood experiences that shaped you. The inner child is that younger version of yourself. All those joys, hurts, everything.
So even as adults, we're carrying that around.
Absolutely. Those early experiences, especially the negative ones, impact how we see ourselves, our relationships, everything.
Makes sense. If you experienced neglect as a child, those messages probably still linger.
Exactly. And that's where the work of loving the inner child comes in. Recognizing those parts of ourselves still need love, even now.
Okay, but how do you actually do that? Love your inner child, I mean.
Hay suggests different things.
Yeah.
Visualization, journaling, even talking to your inner child in the mirror.
Talking to yourself in the mirror. That's different.
I know, it sounds a bit out there. But imagine you're comforting a scared child. It wouldn't be harsh, right?
You'd be reassuring. Give him a hug, maybe.
Exactly. That's the kind of compassion we can offer our inner child through mirror work.
So kind of like reparenting yourself.
In a way, yes. Giving yourself the love and support you may have lacked. It can be really healing. Recognizing those past hurts don't define you.
You have the power to change the narrative.
That's it. Day 9 digs into the link between our inner critic and, those critical voices from our past. Pretty fascinating, right?
It is how often that inner voice just echoes criticisms we heard growing up.
Right, from parents, teachers, whoever. Those messages get internalized.
So instead of replaying those old criticisms, we can offer our inner child encouragement instead.
Yes, recognizing the inner child is still part of us, needing love and protection. And sometimes the best way is to stand up to that critic.
Like saying, enough, I'm not listening to that anymore.
Exactly. Reclaiming your power. Hay really emphasizes visualization here. Imagine spending time with your inner child, doing things you loved as a kid, offering that love and attention you maybe craved.
That's such a cool image. Permission to play again, almost.
Right. Day 10 shifts to the body, applying those self-love ideas in a more concrete way. It talks about the body as a mirror, reflecting our inner world.
What does that mean, the body as a mirror?
Well, every thought, every emotion creates a physical response. Stress, you tense up. Happy, you relax. Our body's always talking to us.
We just need to listen.
Right. And Hay says pain is often a message, something out of balance, emotionally, mentally, or physically. There's this great story about kids at a park. They instinctively tense up even before balls thrown at them.
Like we're bracing ourselves for impact, even when there's no real danger.
And Hay suggests instead of masking those messages with meds, listen to your body. She even mentions her book, Heal Your Body, which has affirmations for specific ailments.
Interesting. So healing is a whole body process.
Absolutely. Day 11 tackles anger. Starts by validating it as a natural response.
We're often told to suppress anger, right? Be nice.
But Hay argues that bottled up anger can be really harmful. It's about healthy expression, releasing it safely.
She suggests physical things like hitting pillows.
Right. Whatever works for you. Talking, writing, even screaming into a pillow. Acknowledge the anger, let it move through you.
She tells a story about a student who released anger through mirror work, experienced amazing healing. Shows even deep anger can be transformed.
Powerful stuff. Day 12 goes into fear, described as a lack of trust. It's something we all experience.
Yeah, escaping fear, huh?
She mentioned Susan Jeffers' book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. How we deal with fear matters more than the fear itself. It's not about getting rid of fear completely, but changing how we relate to it.
So not letting it paralyze you.
Right. Acknowledge it, but don't give it all the power. She talks about breathing, too. When we're scared, we hold our breath. Makes things worse. Deep breaths tell our body we're safe.
Breathing in courage, breathing out fear.
I like that. Day 13 is about starting your day with love. Sounds nice, but easier said than done.
I know, right? Usually I wake up thinking about my to-do list.
Hay says, replace those morning complaints with gratitude. Set a positive tone for the day.
So instead of, ugh, Monday, it's, I'm grateful for this new week.
Exactly. And she says to talk lovingly to yourself in the mirror when you wake up sounds silly, but it can make a difference.
It's like a mini self-care ritual.
And that brings us to the end of week 2. Time to reflect on what we've learned.
Hay reviews the key points: connecting with the inner child, understanding the body, releasing anger and fear, starting the day with love. A lot to unpack.
She encourages us to be patient, practice self-compassion. Transformation takes time.
What are you taking away from this week?
I'm struck by how connected it all is. Childhood shapes our beliefs, our thoughts affect our bodies, self-love affects everything.
It's like peeling back layers, uncovering more about ourselves.
Hey, now we head into the final week, expanding into abundance. Ready for the last 7 days.
Let's do it. Forgiveness, relationships, prosperity, it's all coming up next.
Expanding into abundance and beyond, that's week 3's title. Feels like we're moving into a whole new level.
It is exciting, right? Taking those core ideas and applying them to our world. Relationships, money, even our sense of purpose.
Day 15 jumps right into forgiveness. Not just forgiving others, but ourselves too. Tough stuff.
It can be. We're so hard on ourselves. But Hay says forgiveness is key to letting go of the past, to heal and grow. We all mess up. Holding on to hurts just keeps us stuck.
Like carrying extra weight around.
Exactly. And forgiving doesn't mean saying what happened was okay. It's more about freeing yourself from that energy.
She even talks about writing a letter, getting all those feelings out, then burning it.
Powerful image. Acknowledge the hurt, express it, then let it go. She even connects forgiveness to physical health, too.
Yeah, holding on to anger can create blockages, lead to illness.
Again, that mind-body connection. Our thoughts matter.
Then day 16, healing relationships. The basis, she says, is self-love. Makes sense. If you don't love yourself, how can you expect others to?
Right. Can't pour from an empty cup, as they say. And she talks about knowing what you need in a relationship.
Everyone experiences love differently, right? What works for one person might not for another.
Gotta be honest with yourself and communicate those needs. She even says to treat yourself with love, even if you're single.
Set the standard for how you want to be treated.
Exactly. Day 17, stress. Hay calls it a fear reaction to change. Says our childhood, especially if we felt unsafe, shapes how we handle stress as adults.
Like those early experiences create a pattern, right?
Right.
And it's based on fear, that's going to show up later.
So we need to challenge those old beliefs, realize we're more capable than we think.
We tap into that inner strength. Now, day 18 got me excited. Prosperity and abundance. And she starts with gratitude.
It's true what they say, what you focus on expands. If you're always thinking about what you lack, you'll attract more lack. But focusing on gratitude opens you up to more abundance.
She even compares it to gift-giving. A grateful person makes you want to give more, right? It's like the universe is always giving, but we got to acknowledge and appreciate it.
Be thankful for what you have. Trust that more is coming.
She gives specific affirmations for prosperity, too. My income is constantly increasing, things like that.
Perfect for our mirror work.
And day 19 is all about making gratitude a habit. Start the day with it. Find things to be grateful for, even when things are rough. Tell people you're grateful for them.
It's a shift in how you see the world, focusing on the good.
Then, a little shift in focus. Day 20 is about teaching kids mirror work.
Such an important topic. Kids pick up on everything we do, and there's so much pressure on them these days. They need self-love more than ever.
Hay says we have to model it for them.
Right. Show them it's okay to love themselves exactly as they are. Actions speak louder than words.
And she tells this story about Jessica, a young girl who used mirror work, and her life changed. Really heartwarming.
Then we get to day 21, the last day. Loving yourself now feels like the culmination of everything.
It is. Hay's celebrating our commitment, saying self-love is the key to a better life. And she wants us to keep going, make this a daily practice.
It's not a finish line, it's a journey.
And get this, she says, as we heal ourselves, we heal the world. Each of us choosing self-love helps shift the world to more compassion, understanding.
Wow. It's inspiring, isn't it? Just by loving ourselves, we're making the world better.
That's the amazing thing about this. It's personal, but it ripples outwards, touches everyone.
Well, I'm definitely feeling motivated to start practicing this more. How about you?
Me too.
Yeah.
Simple but powerful stuff.
That's Louise Hay for you. Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into mirror work. Hope you found something valuable here. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep loving yourselves.